Hey guys, it's time for the series premiere of Guilt on Freeform. We're talking about Pilot. Yeah, that's the name of the first episode. We have so much to talk about. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to the Guilt After Show here on AFTERBUZZ. We have so much to talk about. If you haven't already, go to youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ TV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can subscribe there as well. Let's start the show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. I'm joined by my wonderful, wonderful panel. Gabriel's here.
Hey guys, you can catch me on Twitter at Double G on TV.
And Becca.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
Awesome. Guys, first episode. Yeah.
That song was great, by the way.
Yeah, that song is great.
I liked all the songs.
They really set the mood.
Yeah. In every Freeform show, I feel like the songs are...
Sorry, I'm laughing at you. That's great.
Because I watch every Freeform show.
No, because you like all the music on all the Freeform shows. You're in the chat, yes?
Yes.
Awesome. So anyone watching live on YouTube, we are in the chat. Becca is keeping an eye on you and will share your thoughts. So much to talk about. Such a twisted and beautiful pilot episode. What is your initial thought on this show?
I love that it introduces so many interesting characters, you know. I think that when some shows like this, you know, it can be easy to be like, oh, well, that character wasn't that interesting. In this one, all of them were just like, you know, him, that's what he's got going. You know, you want to immediately evaluate, like, do I want it to be them? Do I hate them that much? And then they all had a little bit of that. Even the main character, which I thought they would make it a little more, you know, maybe leave her more in black and white, but no, even that one is in a gray area to get started. So I really love that, you know, I already can't figure out who it is.
Awesome.
My immediate thought after watching the episode was that I need to watch it like 10 more times because I want to get to know every character really well.
Yeah, I feel like I missed so much, and that after 10 episodes, we're going to go back and be like, I need to rewatch the pilot because I'm sure the answer is there and we missed it.
It's definitely going to be one of those shows.
Absolutely. All right,
I don't know. I don't think the killer, we saw them in the pilot yet.
Oh.
No, just kidding. That would be...
There's so many
that would be evil.
That would be. So we're breaking down this episode because it was such a full episode and it's so new to us. We're breaking it down by character. And we're going to start with Grace. Grace is our main character. The show opens on her. And so Grace and her flatmate Molly were at a club dancing, singing to that song. That song is so sexy.
And creepy, kind of.
I like it.
It's good, but it's
It's got that sensual vibe to it.
I like it. I'm a big fan.
Me too.
All right, so we meet Grace at the club, and then we see her with Luke, who we will talk about. Mr. Luke, calm down, Becca.
I can't.
It was a very fun episode for Becca, you know.
It was.
It's a fun episode for me too. I kept shipping everybody.
I mean, I ship people too.
Yeah, we will have a ship report at the end. But we also have this crazy story about Grace, and we find out that she was doing drugs with Luke while they were busy getting it on, and that she may have walked through the crime scene and didn't even know it. That she, you know, and Molly were best friends, but also that she was sleeping with her professor.
Who I don't like.
You don't like the professor?
I don't like the professor at all.
Professor Jeff Linland.
Yes. You know, I don't know. I always... I have a big thing. As soon as a character is sleazy, I'm always okay if they bite the bullet early in an episode. That's just me. It's like, you know what? I'm okay if you don't make it already. But that's just how I am. I know he's probably... Now after that, he's probably going to be like a good character who saves Grace by the end of it or something.
I don't know if he's going to be a good character.
I'll be shocked.
I thought that there was some sort of implication that he was also sleeping with Molly.
That's what I figured.
I thought there was something about that too.
It's a very confusing situation. Grace gets taken in. Grace gets questioned. We presume she's innocent, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're supposed to presume she's innocent, but I think it's too easy to make her the guilty party.
Yeah.
Yes.
When everyone else is making her look guilty, where the audience is just
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh no, that's too obvious.
I feel
Right.
like when you have in a show like this, when you have a big mystery and you're trying to figure out the killer, I think the question when you have the main character as a suspect is the audience thinks, why isn't she? And you're looking for that because, if she just gets locked up at the end of the season, there's no show if
Yeah.
she actually
Yeah.
did do it, or it's drawn out. So I feel like that's what happens when you have the main character like that, and I feel like they did a good job introducing that. She didn't look guilty. We don't see her being too shifty-eyed yet.
Yet.
I mean,
Yeah.
yet. There's obviously they left it open, but I think for the most part they did a good job. I just dropped my pen. I'm just saying, she didn't look too guilty yet, but obviously we don't know the yet. It's just the pilot.
Yeah.
The only reason she looks guilty to me at this point is, and to the everyone questioning her, is just because she doesn't remember what happened because of the party and
Right.
drugs, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I think the reason I feel like there's even this instance that she might be a little guilty is because of the whole professor's tires situation, right? So, like, we see that it's revealed that she was having an affair with her professor, but the only thing that the public knows is that she slashed the tires of her professor's wife's car while she was on drugs. So
Yeah.
when she says to her sister, when I like that her sister, which we will get to her sister, her sister asks her about, is it possible? And I like that she's implying that, well, you were on drugs, maybe you didn't
Yeah.
know, which is, I think, the only way I would accept the main character as the guilty party. Is if it then turns out that, like, she was slipped drugs and didn't know or something.
Yeah, which hopefully isn't the case.
Yeah.
I
That'd
feel
be
like that's
terrible.
still too much of a stretch. And what I liked about that scene is because we opened that door that the sister isn't going to see Grace just as her sister. Like, she asked a lot of questions throughout the episode as the sister.
Yeah.
That last question she posed to her, I feel like she asked as the prosecutor. And that's a door that I really think we got to open up because
Yeah.
it's going to come to that line. I feel they're going to pull on that string that whether about family or following the law, even though she doesn't practice
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
UK.
Let's talk about her sister.
Definitely.
Let's mix up our order here. Let's talk about Natalie, her sister, who is a Boston ADA. She's a prosecutor. She comes in when she's called. What a good sister.
She is.
And she's a good prosecutor.
Long flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
So we see her coming to her sister's aid, being a good sister, being a good prosecutor, getting her stuff. We also see her interact with Molly's brother. I ship the siblings.
I do too. I think they're gonna have a relationship
Yeah.
later on in the season. Maybe like by episode 5 or 6.
So
thought-
far, I've shipped Natalie with 3 different people.
I was gonna
Who
say
else?
the only one I felt like we're gonna get to him eventually, but Bruno,
Yeah.
Oh.
Detective Sergeant Bruno.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that's a thing.
That's
and,
yes.
Yeah, is it just in the UK and I just never heard it in
I thi-
America?
yeah, in the UK, it's detective sergeant or detective inspector. That's their levels.
I feel
Okay.
like Grace is gonna be really mad if her sister starts dating Molly's.
Well, that's what
No
makes
one's
it
talking
fun.
about dating. Anyway,
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm talking about doing.
Okay.
So Natalie, I've shipped Natalie with Patrick, Molly's brother, with Detective Sergeant Bruno, and I kind of ship her with Billy Zane's character Stan.
Oh,
When they're
That's
having
just
those
nuts.
cocktails, I went, "This is gonna be weird and creepy." We'll get to him because he's my favorite.
She's gonna have to be the most messed up out of all of them to end up in his bed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just
Great.
That's a little nasty to me just thinking about it.
So Natalie also discovers the scarf, and there's this whole big scarf scandal. The scarf, which belongs to their stepdad, played by none other than Anthony Stewart Head, aka Giles, who was also on Dominion as Papa Big Wheel, we called him.
Buffy.
Also, he was Giles. Yeah, Giles. And so we get very little about the
Yeah.
stepdad's character. I don't even know what his name is.
He just seems like a jerk.
And we get everything we get is hearsay. The sisters
Right.
say that well, he's a bit of an ass, and
Yeah.
that's why he hired Stan.
And that he always sleeps with younger women,
Yes.
and that there might be a connection. I wrote sleeping with Molly question mark.
And then but then they pose the question: he flew all the way to the London already, and Molly ended up with the scarf.
I think he was in London.
Okay.
Because Natalie asked him where he was, and he said he was
In Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Oh, okay. I
and
missed
she
that
goes, well, that's
in
what
the
you
mix.
said, but for all I know, you
Yeah.
could be in London. So
So we don't know where he is.
we don't know where he is, but I feel like it's very possible. And
That he was
Yeah.
in London.
yeah, Giles plays, Anthony Stewart Head. He's so great at being a creep, and I love it.
He is.
He's so good at being a creep. So I like the idea of him being a creep because he's great at it.
Should have just stayed in that library in Sunnydale, but okay, keep going.
You're so funny.
It's true.
He's done so much since then that you're just ignoring.
I binge watched that show a lot. You know, it's a bad habit.
So let's talk a little bit about Molly and her brother. So Molly is our victim. Molly seems to be beloved by everyone. It seems
In a
that
weird way.
everyone on this show finds her incredible. I mean, she's hot, but they find her incredibly attractive,
Yeah.
or they're attracted to her personality. I don't know what they're attracted to.
There's a reason they're friends or acquaintances with her.
Right, because everyone seems to be into her. We find out that she might be forgetful because all of her stuff keeps going missing, but it turns out that she may have a stalker. We discover that she's preggo,
Yeah.
which is the
So-
big twist.
We
Who's
don't-
the daddy?
Yeah,
That's a big question.
the first suspect on my list is whoever the father is.
So whoever fathered the baby you think is the murderer?
Yeah.
See, I
think it's too
actually think
easy.
I feel like it's a soap opera in that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's the father, but I'm the one who killed her, and everyone's gonna have that whole dun dun dun.
Yeah, I feel like it's too easy for
Or-
the. Yes.
Or someone thinks that they're the father and killed her for that
Yeah.
reason.
No, that is full soap opera right there.
That's full freeform.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I think
Yes.
one of the edgiest shows so far since ABC Family made the change, and that's one of the big things that people were raving about on Guilt before it aired tonight,
Yeah.
is that this, with the transition now and really making it edgier for a mature audience. I mean, I know we
Yeah.
see a bit of blood on things like Liars and Shadowhunters we discussed before
Yeah.
the show. They had that full-on crime scene. That is no ABC Family anymore. And I think props for really setting that precedent early in the episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the costumes too in this
Yes.
show.
Yeah. That's true.
a
You mean
little
the mask?
risque.
Just the mask? That was her costume at the end?
A little risky.
She was wearing a mask?
I don't know. We were looking at the back of her. All right. Before we keep going with Molly, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's tuned in live. We do have some people live in the chat. We do. And thank you guys for joining us. We're really excited. We ask you to do a very simple thing for us. Go to iTunes, make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss a single episode. There are only 10 episodes of this show. You don't want to miss a single one. I feel like every
don't
episode's
miss
going to be a big twist. Also, if you comment and rate and review on iTunes, they will hopefully give you a shout out here on the air, but also that's how guests get in here. And
Yes.
from the sexiness of this show, right? This cast is hot. Calm down,
Accents
Becca.
galore. I tweeted that.
She did. Let's make sure that we can get some guests in here this season and get the show renewed for another season. So we ask you to do a simple thing. Go rate and review. If you like the show, give us 5 stars. If you don't like our show, give us 4 stars. The other stars, they don't work, so don't worry about it. But you can write us a little comment and let us know what we're doing well, what we could be doing better, and let us know who you think is guilty and who you ship.
Unintended.
Ship. All right, let's get back to Molly. So we also find out about this Prince Theo thing, which, I mean, all we know is that Prince Theo is with an escort of sorts. We're making that assumption.
Yeah.
And that he's unhappy with her because she isn't Molly. That's all we know.
Well, we also know his preferences when he's out with these individuals.
Yeah, he's a little into BDSM.
And it's going to be, we show what we assume is Buckingham Palace, so we're going to assume that's a major scandal that might really manifest
Yeah.
itself into a bigger drama for our characters.
Right.
I'm assuming that's a secret he's gonna want to keep, and he's gonna take certain measures
Yeah.
against our familiar characters to
Right.
make sure people don't know his dirty laundry.
Yeah, I feel like it was too easy to assume that he is her stalker. Also,
Yeah.
it's impossible that he's the person who may have broken in from the other building through the roof down the stair. You know what I mean? Like, a prince can't do that unseen.
But a prince can afford people to do it unseen.
No.
Fair point.
Oh.
Very fair point.
And he seems very dark. I mean, the lighting when
I was gonna say, are you sure that
scene
just
was-
wasn't the lights in that
Yeah.
scene?
Who was looking at the lights in that scene?
I know, right?
He took his shirt off, and I went,
That
"Hi,
too.
hi, Prince Theo."
That too.
So Molly has a brother, Patrick.
Yes.
We know that he doesn't trust the government, and that's about it.
Hey.
But we ship him with Natalie.
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
And we think he's cute.
All right.
We? No,
I mean, it's not bad.
Gabriel thinks he's really cute.
You
I
know
thought it
what?
was
I still got to think for Natalie. That's my ship.
Natalie's
I don't want to
yours?
see her with anyone else, but I'm gonna be disappointed.
You called
here's
dibs
the
on
thing-
Natalie?
Yes.
'Kay.
You know, right now, week 1, episode 1. I gotta be careful with ships because if you're a fan of me and Becca on Stitchers, we have very conflicting
mad at him.
theories about, you know, different couples on shows. So I'm trying to avoid that
see.
now going into this one.
All right. Well, let's jump into my ship and talk about Detective Sergeant Bruno.
Okay.
Yumsicle.
Yumsicle.
Yeah. Detective
Like,
Sergeant
it got a
Bruno.
little steamy in the AFTERBUZZ behind the scenes, people,
Yeah.
you know. Which I get. He's a very in-shape guy. The accent, I believe he's
Very.
from London. I have
He
a
is. He
feeling
very
about
much
that.
is. I checked.
There's a lot of accents.
Yeah. As we
yeah.
were watching, I was like, been there. I've been there. I was just there. I felt like we were watching my vacation last week. I did not get to see Detective Sergeant Bruno, but I'd
I'm
like
sorry. Next time.
Next time I'll get arrested. Anyway, so he's the main detective sergeant on this case. It seems he doesn't really trust anybody, but he's also making moves on Natalie.
But
He wants to
if
trust
it-
Natalie.
Yeah, he
I mean,
does.
his sister was just killed, so I don't want to trust anyone either.
Detective
Bruno?
Sergeant
Wait,
Bruno?
no, I thought we were talking
talking-
about Patrick.
No, we moved off
No.
Patrick.
We're talking about Bruno.
Is there anything you want to
Fail.
add about
Yes.
Patrick? I mean,
no.
his accent's hot. He's a
Yeah.
pretty looking guy. Okay.
One of the big points I noticed, a big article that was being pushed by Freeform, USA Today, they mentioned what are the top 5 things about guilds, what's so interesting. And you guys aren't alone. They said accents and sexiness galore.
Yeah.
So that was it was all done on purpose. Make
Yeah.
sure they sound that great. But I think
I like French accents.
We'll get to Luke. Calm down.
I was gonna say his relationship with I want to make sure Gwendolyn, the prosecutor,
Yeah.
which we're gonna get into. 2 very assertive characters in different ways. I thought that was very interesting. They have a very weird dynamic in that they almost seem to really butt heads.
Yeah.
But then you remember, hey, they are fighting for the law. And so I feel like at the end of the day, they do have that trust in each other.
Right, they're also on the same side.
Yes. So I can see being shipped later. Just because, you know what, when you got 2 assertive characters just around each other a lot, they kind of realize how much they need to trust each other. And we all know what happens in these kinds of shows when they're just around each other long enough.
I feel like we're more likely to get that they have a history than a future with them.
You know what? I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I could get that. I got that vibe now that you said it.
I want to point out, speaking of sexiness, I pointed this out when we were watching. That blue dress that she was wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, she looked so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting arrested in London.
Yeah, right? Getting
Like, just
prosecuted.
knocking,
Oh my.
knocking on the Buckingham Palace doors too long.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, yep, take me.
Okay.
What do they call that? Scotland Yard. You know, take me away.
Becca, something you wanted to add?
I think if Gwendolyn hooks up with anyone, it's gonna be Stan.
With Stan.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's
a bold prediction. Let's get to your favorite, Luc Pascal, our French artist who does a lot of drugs.
Who's very sketchy, but
That's your
I
type?
also really want to trust him. Yeah, that's my type, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna. I mean, here's what we know about Luke. We know that he was dating Grace, but doing Molly as well. He does a lot of drugs. He's very French.
When you say doing Molly,
The girl,
Okay.
Molly Ryan,
I mean,
not Molly the drug.
we've just come to understand he's a
Oh my
tortured
gosh.
artist, but it's like, wait.
Yeah, he was doing Molly. He probably also did some Molly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's what they even said they were doing.
I didn't know
Anyway.
they named too many.
Yeah. He also he was trying to convince Grace that they should run away because they're under investigation, but
Bad
then he
idea.
wasn't answering. Yeah. He's super sketch, and I feel like there's a whole big history, but it's too simple for him to be the murderer and or the father.
He's guilty of something,
Yeah.
but it's not the
Yeah.
murder. That's what
And
I got
he's
out of
not
it.
the dad.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think he's running maybe because he thinks that really thinks that Grace did it.
You think he trusts Grace enough to take her? Be like, I think you did it, so I'm going to protect you?
Maybe.
I feel like he's so sketchy. That he's
Maybe
like,
he
"Nah."
was gonna set it up to save his own skin in case.
Oh.
I mean,
If he
he's
actually
tortured, but
is.
he's not stupid.
The only way I would accept that he was the murderer is if he murdered Molly to frame Grace. That's the only way
that
I'd
would be-
accept it.
That'd be a very interesting
It's too
plot
simple.
twist.
To correlate the show with Pretty Little Liars, it's way too much like Ian
Yeah.
Yes.
from season 1 and 2, you know?
Yeah. Who's your top suspect at this point?
At this point, nobody. Nobody's a suspect at this point.
But you have to pick a top suspect if you had to.
If I had to, it's someone we haven't met yet. Even though we've met
Oh,
so many
that's-
people, it's somebody we haven't met yet.
No,
That's not what I asked, though.
That-
From this episode.
From this episode, I know that it's none of these people.
Okay,
right.
Gabriel.
you know what? That's a great one.
Top suspect. Stan.
I really feel like I'm looking at the list and what we know about him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Roz actually.
Okay.
I was about to say Ross too.
I
think it's too
and I
easy.
think it's something. Well, I don't want to get into predictions just
Okay.
yet, but I think her and another character, something happened,
yeah.
and it's gonna, when that's revealed, it's gonna make more sense if it is her down the line.
Okay. Let's finish up about Luke because we still have more people to talk about.
Yeah.
So Luke, any other news that we know about Luke? I like when Gwendolyn points out, when we discover that Luke was sleeping with both Grace and Molly, and she points out never underestimate jealous girls.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely a very important thing to say. I don't think that it was Grace, but it could have been another person that he was sleeping with. That's absolutely an option.
It's possible. Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, preach on that. That hell has no wrath like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's maybe a hint that it is a female character. But then again, it could be a red herring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I felt like she was setting a precedent also that don't underestimate the female characters on this show.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though
Yeah.
like Grace,
Strong female characters.
whether or not she is going to be a stronger suspect down the line, she's not just a kind of damsel in distress kind of girl. Neither is Roz.
Yeah.
Neither is obviously Gwendolyn. So I think that's just what we're setting the precedent. Don't, think it can't be them just
Right.
because they're the female characters. They're going to be a victim. No.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think what I love about the show is that at this point it has a very How to Get Away with Murder feel.
It does.
It's if you Pretty Little Liars and How to Get Away with Murder had a baby, it would be this show.
It does. All the characters are very complex, and we have a lot to learn about them. And
Yeah.
we learned a lot in this episode, which
Yeah.
is kind of overwhelming.
Absolutely. Let's
It's
talk
a little
about Stan.
overwhelming. But yes.
Billy Zane! Oh my god, I love that Billy Zane is here. I love the way we're introduced to him, where he's talking to a squirrel, and then he goes to his neighbor. This is my favorite scene. He goes to the neighbor, and he starts undoing his shirt, and he's like, well, by the sound of it, I thought it was an invitation. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
He looks really cool in those glasses.
Okay. I think he gained a little weight.
I gotta say, brilliant character introduction.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
plus on that. You don't have to ask what kind of guy he is after the first minute after seeing him, and that's the kind of thing that you want out of your pilot. You don't want to have to think too much
Yeah.
about what kind of, no, this is who he is, this is what you're in for with him, and that set a great tone.
Absolutely.
He's one of 2 characters that we can, like, 100% trust so far, I think.
Yeah.
You trust him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I trust that he's not the murderer. I don't know if I trust him.
Here's why I trust him. What he says to Natalie, she says, you're her lawyer, you're Grace's lawyer, not her doctor. And he says, I'm whatever she needs to be to keep her out of jail. And that's a good lawyer right there. I know, yeah, he shouldn't have given her a Xanax, but still, I love that. And then when we discover why he can't practice, I love that it's just there. We're going to explain right here and now.
Yeah.
This is why he can't practice in the U.S. He peed on a judge's dinner. Absolutely.
Hysterical.
Love this character. Absolutely.
I didn't pass the bar, but I know a little bit. No.
You know, you don't.
I
you
think
don't
he's
piano
gonna
judges.
do things wrong down the line
Oh, yeah.
when trying to help out Grace's case, but I still think we can completely trust him along with Natalie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is the greatest. I love this character so much. He's gonna be the greatest ally. He's gonna do awful things to make sure that they're safe.
Yes.
Yes.
He's not a good guy, but he's doing good.
Yeah.
Or he is a good guy, but he's doing bad. One of those is correct.
He's making mistakes.
There
He's
you
going to
go.
do bad things for good reasons.
There you go. And I like that he's hired by Giles because it's just
We'll learn his name
My
eventually.
Stepdad. But I like that because it tells us a lot about the stepdad as a character, is who he would hire to protect his daughter.
Yeah.
So we also have to talk about Roz, who is their other flatmate, who we meet in the beginning, and she seems so casual and nice and just normal.
Yeah, she doesn't
like-
really say much.
Yeah.
Does she say anything?
Yeah, she says clean
was-
up.
Yeah, she was just mad. It's like, oh, y'all trashed the place while I was gone.
Besides that, does she say anything though?
Yeah, so later we discover Roz is in bed with that hot girl she met at the club.
Yes.
Yeah, she was.
I loved it.
So Roz is a DJ. She's also pimping out her friends. And I believe it's going to be some correlation between Roz and Prince Theo. And that's how Molly got to Prince Theo.
I could see that being a thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't see how it's not.
Right.
I mean, when you put the 2 characters together, that they're somehow unrelated. When you get introduced Prince Theo into the equation, there's some kind of tension that's gonna happen there between
right.
them.
I think it's very much an easy step to go from Prince Theo has this prostitute tied up and she's wearing the mask.
Yeah.
He's into BDSM. He's unhappy with her because she's not Molly. We then find out later that Roz takes her lover of the night and convinces her to make a few extra bucks by going to some party naked with these masks. I think it's a fairly logical equation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
I was wondering if Roz and Molly were ever together.
Oh,
I feel like they
together.
Absolutely.
have to be.
Yeah.
And,
That was-
that's
yeah.
more. Yeah. Molly's not a little angel that got killed. I think we're gonna learn that very quickly. You know, obviously she was with Luke. We're assuming she was with Roz. She's done.
Finger crossed we get to see
she's-
that in the flashbacks.
And she's done something to Grace, and that's gonna come out. I feel like it has to in this kind of mystery
Oh,
show.
and she was
Yeah.
probably with the professor as well.
Oh my god.
Yes.
She was with everyone in this town.
I wouldn't be surprised if Molly and Grace were a couple at some point.
Oh.
That. I
That'd
hope
be
we get that
kinda
flashback.
Twisted.
I'm gonna be honest. I hope we get a flashback where that entire flat is having a good time.
Oh.
Roz, Grace, and Molly. Is that not the sexiest thing ever?
I feel like
Luke
in a
will
way,
be there too, painting it.
Oh, okay.
That's what.
I feel like in a way Molly is definitely the Allison De Laurentiis of the show.
Molly is the Allison. Okay.
But she, well, the thing with that analogy, I get where you're coming from. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is, they spent so many seasons establishing Allison's not dead.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean. Okay, yeah, she was pulling all the strings and they all didn't know about each other 100%.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
like we saw bodies, so obviously she's dead.
I was gonna say, yeah, she better not come back to life after
That'd be kind of creepy.
Nah.
that'd be a whole different show.
I feel like we've already started it, so we might as well just spend the rest of the time in predictions.
Yes.
Because there's so much to predict.
There is a lot to predict.
And
Wow,
now, your
magic.
AfterBuzz
Magic.
TV
Predictions.
predictions.
Okay. Only 10 episodes, and we're promised, I put air quotes on that promised, that we'll see who's guilty by the end. I believe, okay, let's stop with the flashing. I believe that we will see who's guilty. I don't know, we'll see who killed her, right?
Yeah.
It's such a Freeform, well, it's an ABC Family move that I'm assuming Freeform's keeping to keep us going by not giving us the answer we want, but giving us other answers.
So you think someone will be found guilty, but that person may not necessarily be the one who killed her?
No, I think we will find everyone's guilty of something
Yeah.
the entire season, but
Okay.
no one by the end of the season we won't know who killed her.
Oh,
or
okay.
we'll know who killed her and start next season with why they didn't actually kill her. I
There
mean,
you go,
that's
yeah.
such a Freeform
That's
move.
We'll have
Yeah.
like 5 people who are guilty at the end
Yeah.
of the season and like narrow it down.
I think we're. Well, yeah.
Yeah?
I think we're okay. Are we going into if we have to pick one again? Who did it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I think Roz. I feel like Roz. We're probably going to develop a lot that she may have been, pimping the friends, working some kind of brothel angle,
Right.
whatever it is, but she wasn't one to ever really commit a violent crime.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see a different side of her by the end of it, and we're gonna figure out why. I'm pretty sure she was working a bit with Prince Theo. They're gonna have something more than just, hey, she was like a source for getting those women in there. There's gonna be something else going on.
Oh,
Yes.
piggybacking on your idea,
Okay.
here's what I think. I think Molly is going to try to get out of the game, right? She tried to I don't want to keep doing this. I'm pregnant. I don't want to keep sleeping with Prince Theo. And Roz killed her because she was like, no, I'm out of this game. Wow, I watch way too much SVU.
Hey. So you do think Roz is guilty?
Sure, if we're going to go with Roz,
Cool.
that's it. That's how it goes down.
Yeah, another side note, I believe we haven't mentioned the cell phone yet. The cell phone is,
That's
I feel,
missing?
gonna appear. I have a feeling Prince Theo has it. I don't know why. I just feel like
You
of all
think
the
he's the one
characters,
stealing stuff?
I think,
Ooh.
yeah. I think it's
Right.
Theo.
But he's already a prince. Why does he need to steal stuff?
He
when
wants
That's what
her
makes
stuff.
that's what makes the mystery more interesting.
So,
And he's gonna go to
Hoarding
Stan
her
eventually, and they're gonna have to work out some kind of deal. He's
Who?
not the
Oh,
killer.
to Stan.
Yeah, but those two are gonna have a lot of interactions.
well, so I just want to say the phone, we talked about how the phone was missing like her other stuff that she may have forgotten everywhere, or she is a stalker from the pilot episode. But in the promo for the rest of the season, we see the phone, we hear someone say that he needs it back. I have a feeling, for some reason, it felt like it was the stepdad who said we need to get that phone back. That was my prediction. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
That the stepdad has the phone or needs the phone?
Maybe needs the phone
Because
Not has
he-
it,
'Cause he was
needs-
sleeping with
needs
Molly.
it. I think that's really
think
creepy,
so.
or maybe nah.
Yes.
I think the professor was sleeping with Molly.
Well,
first,
yeah.
and not
Yeah,
the stepdad.
Oh, I think both were sleeping with Molly. I think the stepdad's the father of the baby.
Oh.
Yep, I'm
think that
just
makes sense.
I'm going full
Yeah.
crazy here.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I like that more than the Luke angle.
yeah. I think the brother is a waste of a character.
I'm gonna go with the professor as the father of the baby.
Okay.
I think they're setting up the brother. My prediction: he's gonna kill the wrong person before the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, I
because
could
it's
totally see
so
that.
vengeful, and it's gonna be someone. It's probably gonna be Luke, which will break Becca's
No,
heart.
no.
Yeah,
I
so
could
that's
totally
that's my
see-
new
yeah.
prediction.
No.
I could totally see Patrick
Yes.
Don't you
killing
dare.
Luke. I would say Patrick kills Luke by episode 5.
I
No.
like it. Can we get that AfterBuzz TV exclusive?
No.
It's a prediction. It's not an
don't care.
exclusive.
No.
Hey, as soon as it comes true, I think that becomes
That
an
becomes an
exclusive.
exclusive. We called it.
No.
All right. Do we think we're gonna get good flashback? I feel like the show has to give flashbacks, right?
Yes, definitely.
There's no way we could move forward without flashbacks.
We started with a flashback.
Kind
the
of.
very beginning.
We started
like
with 12
5 seconds.
Yeah, it was her being questioned, and then it went 12 hours earlier, which to me felt like a waste because
Yeah.
we didn't get to that point. There wasn't a question. At that point, there wasn't a question that we were worried about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There wasn't
was
because it was like, why tell us about what happened? We know what the show is about. This was a waste of flashback.
In 5 seconds.
I kind of like that it wasn't flashback heavy, actually. They had to do it a little bit to establish some kind of narrative, like a timeline. But I actually don't like the idea of flashbacks. I like that throughout the show, we're going to just have to take everyone's word at face value.
Yeah, but I really want to see Roz and Molly and Grace.
Okay, for those selfish reasons, of course. I hope we get to see all of it. You know, Roz with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becca? Sorry, my head went somewhere. Go on, Becca. Talk.
You know, I know you're. Yeah. I mean, I just want to see more Luke.
We also
But he's not going to make it.
in the promo for
Yes,
this
he
season.
is. Shush.
In the promo for this season, we saw DS Bruno saying that he had some secret as well. Detective
Everyone
Sergeant
has
Bruno.
secrets.
Yeah, but I want to know what Bruno's secret is. And if he slept with Molly, I'm going to be real unhappy. Here's why.
If he's up with Molly, I'm gonna be really unhappy with Molly.
Here's why I'm going to be
decisions.
unhappy. I'm going to be unhappy because it's way too much like Pretty Little Liars.
Well, yeah,
It's called following a winning formula for the network, you know.
it's true.
Fair point,
But
fair point.
I agree with that. I don't think it's gonna be Molly. I feel like he's gonna have already interacted with one of the other characters that we haven't seen him talk to yet. We've only seen him
Oh.
talk to Natalie, Grace, Gwendolyn, a bit of Stan.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of our periphery characters, whether it be Luke, Ross, someone else. He's gonna have just run into them and had trouble with them before, and it's gonna raise a question to like, well, how innocent is he? He's hiding a big secret regarding one of the other characters we already
see.
met, but I don't see it being too random.
Okay. I think it's going to be revealed at some point, and it's going to not change much, that he and Gwendolyn had a history for sure.
Yes,
That I agree with that.
Definitely.
Especially in that blue dress.
Or you know, he's gonna that dress, man.
Right? It
You
was,
know, you keep bringing it up. You're gonna distract me from my notes.
Look at your notes.
Like, I'm gonna just draw the dress. Like,
She looked so
yeah,
good in that dress.
that character was totally well developed. No.
by the way, you have really good handwriting.
Thank you. I
Anyway,
appreciate that.
guys.
Real quick, I think Bruno is gonna help Patrick's brother, or Molly's brother, Patrick. Kill Luke to hide his secret.
Why are we killing off Luke?
Because I just like to see that reaction out of you.
I also think
That's
that
cruel.
it's he's too sketchy. Maybe we'll bring in someone sketchier to kill, but I feel like
Yeah.
he's too
Okay.
sketchy to live.
I feel like the reason he'll live is because he's too sketchy,
All right.
and because he's involved in the murder.
Final thoughts. Murder, father, anything else?
Like I said, Prince Theo has the phone. He's going to be working with Stan to hide another secret. Right now, my suspect number one, Ross.
Okay.
There's 2 killers.
Oh, 2 killers.
That's yeah. And we're gonna
Interesting.
maybe we'll find out one at the end of the
Season.
end of this season, and then there'll be someone else who was working with that person.
All right.
I think maybe Roz and
Somebody else.
Theo.
Roz
Yeah.
is going to be the one guilty at the end, or Roz is going to get away with it?
I don't know. One of
Okay.
the two.
I think if it is Prince Theo, I think he's going to get away with it anyway because
Because
he's
he's
Prince. Sure, that.
I'm surprised she didn't say that.
I'll just say I think there wasn't enough shirtlessness in this episode. Just
I
really
agree.
important.
You know what? Not enough women's butts in this episode for me.
Also.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they... Well, yeah.
Well, when I said shirtlessness, I meant in general.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. All right. On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us here for the Guilt After Show on AfterBuzz. Becca, while people wait all week, where can they find you?
You can find me at Becca B Talks TV on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll probably rewatch the show and tweet about it 1,000 times. So.
I believe it. And Gabriel.
Hey, guys, as always, you can catch me on Twitter at Double G on TV.
Awesome. And you guys know where to find me. I'm online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. Also, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, everything at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Plus, I have a podcast. It's free. It's called Intimate Interrogations. Sometimes it is filthy. Sometimes it's clean. You never know. Check it out. It's free on iTunes. And this panel will be back every Monday, all season, for more guilt. See you guys next
Yep.
time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.